As we approach a new era of NASCAR laden with uncertainty in multiple categories, whether it be TV deals or drivers coming and leaving, older fans harken upon the golden era of NASCAR, roughly the early 1990s, in which Dale Earnhardt reigned supreme to around 2007, just before the arrival of the hated Car of Tomorrow. Many older fans have favorite drivers that come from this era, like the Intimidator himself, Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, or Mark Martin. Unfortunately, many of the drivers that got their starts during the golden era have either retired or passed away. But some that have come from the tail end of the golden era are still driving, such as Denny Hamlin, the Busch brothers, and Jimmy Johnson. But I'm not going to be talking about those guys today. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the last true golden era drivers, the oldest full-time Cup driver on the series circuit, and Eric Estepp's favorite driver. None other than 2003 Winston Cup Series champion, Matt Kenseth. Hey guys, Noah here. I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the love and support you gave my last video. I actually didn't expect it to get that many views, so yeah, honestly, it made my whole day. And shout out to the Iceberg for this awesome comment. Thank you so much, dude. I love your videos, and the fact that you watched mine made my whole entire day. Without further ado, everybody, viewers,
start your engines!
Okay, so who is Matt Kenseth? Now, I know a lot of people already know who Matt Kenseth is, but for everyone who doesn't, here we go. Matt Kenseth was born March 10th, 1972 in Cambridge, Wisconsin, the same state as Travis Kvapil and my mom, of course. Kenseth would get into racing after convincing his father Roy that Roy should buy a car and race. Matt would work on his father's car until he himself was old enough to race. Kenseth began racing in 1988 at the age of 16 at Madison International Speedway. In the early 90s, Kenseth would race late models and in some ART-Go races as well. Kenseth was extremely dominant, establishing himself as a short track legend. In 1994, he raced 60 times in 3 different cars, winning track championships at both Wisconsin International Raceway on Thursday nights and Madison International Speedway on Friday nights. He also would win the 1994 Slinger Nationals at Slinger Super Speedway, and in 1995 he repeated with back-to-back championships at Wisconsin and runner-up at Madison. Plus, he would go on to win the Red, White, and Blue State Championship Series at Wisconsin on 3 Saturday nights in a row. In 1996, he would move to the Southern United States to race in the Hooters Series Late Model Championship. The plan was for him to run the Hooters Series, 5 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series races, and 5 Busch Series races before moving full-time into the Busch Series in 1997. He would finish 3rd in the Hooters Series, nearly winning the series championship as a rookie. Kenseth actually wouldn't make any Truck Series starts, as in 1996 he would go straight to the Busch Series, making his first and only start of the season at the spring race at Lowe's Motor Speedway, finishing 31st and 5 laps down. At first, he couldn't attract any sponsorships and his racing career was in jeopardy. However, in 1997, fellow Busch Series racer and snowmobiler Tim Bender was injured, and Bender's crew chief / car owner Robbie Reiser, Kenseth's former late model competitor and rival, hired Kenseth to race for him in his number 17 Craft Single Chevrolet despite having only 1 Busch Series start. Kenseth would qualify 3rd at Charlotte in his first race with his new team. In that race, Kenseth would almost finish 3rd before spinning out in the final laps and finishing 11th. Kenseth would also qualify 20th in his next race at Talladega, where he would finish 7th. Overall, Kenseth would have 2 top 5 finishes during the partial season in Tim Bender's ride. Kenseth would actually replace Bender in the 1998 season, where he would also score his first win and a 2nd place finish in the standings with 3 wins, 17 top 5s, 23 top 10s, and an average finish of 9th. Kenseth's first Winston Cup Series race would be at Dover in 1998, filling in for Bill Elliott in his number 94 McDonald's Ford for Elliott Marino Racing. And yes, Hall of Fame quarterback Dan Marino of the Miami Dolphins once owned a NASCAR team. Elliott could not race because he was attending his father's funeral on the day of the race. Kenseth would finish 6th, the 3rd best debut of any driver in the history of NASCAR. Kenseth's big break would come in the year 2000 after Jack Roush of Roush Racing hired Kenseth in the number 17 team, now sponsored by DeWalt, to drive full-time in the Winston Cup Series, switching from Chevrolet to Ford. Kenseth was so good that he beat out Dale Earnhardt Jr. to win the 2000 Winston Cup Series Rookie of the Year award. He would also win the 2000 Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte and is the only rookie to have ever won the 600, NASCAR's longest race. He would go on to finish 14th in the points with 1 win, 4 top 5s, 11 top 10s, and an average finish of 19th. In 2001, Kenseth would not win a race, but he would improve to 13th in points with 4 top 5s, 9 top 10s, and an average finish of 19th again. But in 2002, Kenseth would go on to win 5 races, the most out of any driver that season, as well as 1 pole. But inconsistency caused him to finish 8th in the standings. The point system was weird, y'all. That season, Kenseth would score 5 wins, 11 top 5s, 19 top 10s, and an average finish of 16th. 2003 is arguably Kenseth's best year in the Cup Series, as he would go on to win the 2003 Winston Cup Series Championship. Remember when I said that the point system was weird? I meant that. His championship was very controversial among NASCAR as a whole because Kenseth only won 1 race that season. However, Kenseth did have 11 top 5s and 25 top 10s, as well as an average finish of 10th, which is wild. In light of this controversy, NASCAR would implement a new point system known as the Chase for the Nextel Cup for the 2004 season. In essence, the system created a 10-race playoff with only the top 10 drivers in points after the first 26 races of the season competing for the championship. Moreover, the system placed an emphasis and a points premium on wins. As a result, the term the Matt Kenseth rule was unofficially coined amongst NASCAR and NASCAR fans alike, meaning that under this system, NASCAR would never have another 2003 Matt Kenseth situation ever again. Unfortunately for Kenseth, he would never win another NASCAR championship under the system, but it's not because he wasn't a good driver. In fact, it's quite the contrary, because from 2004 to 2012, Kenseth would score 17 wins, 95 top 5s, and 162 top 10s, with an average finish of 15th. Kenseth was racing out of his mind. It's just that A, the point system wasn't in his favor, and B, he raced in an era with Jimmy Johnson. After the 2012 season, Kenseth would leave Roush Fenway Racing to replace Joey Logano in the Joe Gibbs number 20 Dollar General Toyota, where he had a career renaissance. Racing with Joe Gibbs from 2013 to 2018, Kenseth would score 15 wins, 55 top 5s, and 66 top 10s. He would also come close to winning the Sprint Cup Series championship twice, once in 2013 and once in 2015. After the 2015 championship run, Kenseth started winning less and less, and in 2018, Kenseth was released by Joe Gibbs Racing in favor of Eric Jones, who would end up replacing him in the number 20. He would race part-time in the Roush Fenway Racing number 6 Wyndham Rewards Ford during the 2018 season. His 2018 season was not that great, as Kenseth would score just 2 top 10s and an average finish of 19th. Unfortunately, Kenseth could not find a cup ride for the 2019 season, and most NASCAR fans considered him to be pretty much retired. During his time out of the Cup Series, Kenseth raced super late models in his home state of Wisconsin, and he even won his 8th Slinger Nationals. Kenseth seemed to be enjoying retirement, except there was one tiny problem. Kenseth never actually said he was retiring. So, when Chip Ganassi needed a driver to replace Kyle Larson, who made the mistake of dropping the hard R N-word like a 12-year-old in an Xbox 360 chat room, they called him up to finish the 2020 season. How's he doing so far? Not that great. Matt Kenseth has been pretty forgettable this season, but why is that? Is it the equipment? Well, when Larson drove the number 42, that team was solid. He snagged 6 wins, 56 top 5s, and 101 top 10s over 5 years and finished 6th in the point standings in 2019. But ever since Kenseth replaced him in that ride with virtually the same equipment, the 42 team has been hot garbage. So maybe it isn't all because of the equipment. Alright, so is it Matt Kenseth's fault? Maybe? It's hard to say for sure because Matt Kenseth is truly not that bad of a driver. We've seen the stats. The man is a proven winner and he will definitely be in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. But he's been out of a cup ride for a year and a half now. Furthermore, he had never driven this intermediate package before NASCAR started back up on May 17th at Darlington Raceway, where he finished 10th, which is extremely impressive. But ever since then, he's been very, very inconsistent. 30th at Darlington number 2, 26th at Charlotte, 23rd at Charlotte number 2, 16th at Bristol, 15th at Atlanta, 23rd at Martinsville, 25th at Homestead, 40th at Talladega, then 11th at Pocono, and 12th at Pocono number 2. It's been a roller coaster of finishes for Kenseth and literally anything but a top 10 finish. And one more thing, crew chief and driver chemistry is so integral to winning, but with Kenseth coming back so soon, on top of the fact that there isn't practice or qualifying due to the pandemic, it feels like Kenseth has not had proper time to really find chemistry with his new team. That isn't to say he won't find it though. A pair of almost top 10 finishes at Pocono back-to-back is a great sign that things might be going in the right direction, but it will all depend on how the race at Indianapolis goes for the number 42 team. Plus, with only 11 races until the playoffs, the time is now for Kenseth to get it in gear. Will he? I'm not sure, but I hope he does because I want Matt Kenseth to go out with a bang.
Now, when they come off of turn 4 and Dale Jr. is still pushing him,
could be a whole different story.
I'd say things might pick up.
They're looking for the white flag this time.
Once we get into this lap, if anything should happen down in turn 1 or 2 or 3 and 4, it's over.
Three-car breakaway. Junior tucked up tight under the bumper of Biffle. Kenseth leads to turn 1, final lap.
Denny Hamlin in the 11s there with no one to push him.
Actually, he might actually be hurting those 2 cars in front of him if he gets back too far. But here we go. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen pretty quick.
We've seen where the timing of where you do it is so critical.
Those 2 cars, the 16 and the 88, should be able to get by Kenseth if Biffle elects to take the chance.
Ford Chevrolet off the final corner. Matt Kenseth trying to win it for the second time. Here comes Junior to the outside. Side by side with Kenseth. He runs out of time. Matt Kenseth wins the Daytona 500.
Thank y'all once again for watching. If you liked what you saw, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have a suggestion on what I should do next, leave it in the comments below. All right, y'all. Peace.